Okay, hi there boys and girls, and welcome back to the channel. So we've got more Ace Masteries replays for you. Our first is from Klaus von Games. Now he's rolling out in the Panzer Kmpfw IV, Tier 5 German medium tank, and we're on dead rail. I don't normally feature aces from the lower tiered tanks, but I believe this is actually Klaus's first ever ace, so well done to him indeed. So we're going to see how he gets on. I love watching. It's interesting watching replays back from like tier 5 tanks, because I just don't play them. They all just look so tiny, don't they? If you're not used to looking at them. Now there's a bit of I've noticed. I noticed Klaus has got a habit of not being aimed in when he fires, which I know some people advocate you can still be successful with them. And by and large, you can if you don't struggle with penetration. But when you're starting to get into the upper tiers, you're going to find that more and more difficult to get away with. And I think it's probably a habit that needs to be gotten rid of, really. When you start going up against higher tiered heavy tanks and you're looking for places to pen on the turret, this is just not a very good habit. But nonetheless, he's going to close up on our friend here and start giving him the beans. Now he is taking some fire from the left. Now again, this is just from a sort of tactical point of view. Probably should have driven past him there and used the enemy tank to block shots coming from his left, but he's going to get this guy cleared up. He face hugged him, so he would take the bounces. He's now getting closed in by a B1 behind, and yeah, I remember driving the B1 when I was first going up the French line, and oh yeah, it's a great tank at tier 4 and absolutely useless at tier 5. It was a very frustrating animal. So he's now getting into a one-on-one with the B1. He's going to get some help, I think, from one of his teammates in just a second. So it's just a question of keeping his tank angled, which he's done very well there. He's taking the bounces, and he clears this guy up for kill number 3. So he's doing very, very well so far. Clears this guy up for kill number 4, and yeah, basically he's just dissecting these enemies one at a time. Only 2 enemy tanks left, so pretty certain victory for green at this point. Now, interestingly here, as you can see, we've got a tank here that's why medium tanks like camping at the back of the map in TD spots. I just don't understand the point of that. If you're going to do that, you might as well drive a TD. Why do it in a medium tank? But nonetheless, Klaus just looking to try and get round on this guy and see if he can get him cleared up. Eventually, they're slow, aren't they? Eventually, he gets around here, manages to put a shot into the back of him there. One of his teammates also wants in on the action. This time, Klaus zooms in, makes sure of the shot, and clears him up for kill number 5. So just over 2,000 damage and 5 kills. Nice performance there at tier 5, and a well-deserved first ace mastery. Well played indeed. Okay, here we are with Dennis from GTC1, who features in nearly all of my ace mastery videos because he gets aces all the time. And he's driving the Prototype A Tier 9 German medium, and we're here on Alpenstadt. And it's not a tank I've driven, this one, actually. I've heard a lot of people really do enjoy this tank. And the tier 10 version of the tank, but I know that some people really don't get on with it. So it's like any tank, I suppose. If you're not doing well in the tank, it's probably because you're not driving it properly. So he's going to have a pretty slow start to this game, actually. Dennis just basically trying to find out where the rest of the red team are and what's going to be his best angle of attack. As he comes round here, you can see he's potentially got a target through the buildings there. Has a quick snapshot to see if it connects with anything, but he wants to round this corner now and start engaging these guys. So he gets the back of this tank, and that's the wonderful thing. He's got a nice fast firing gun, and he's just going to keep sticking in the hurt here. So already whacked in a couple of nice shots, got another target right in front of him, again with the back of the tank as the target. And who doesn't love to do this when you're in a medium tank? Just roll backwards and forwards, keep throwing out the damage with a fast firing gun, and keeping your tank in cover. This is exactly what medium tankers love to do. So he's managed to clear this guy up now. You can see he's got a Kmpfw 70 just off to his left. So ultimately, he knows he might have difficulty penning this guy from the front, especially through the turret. Very troll turret armor on the Kmpfw 70. So Dennis is going to do, now the Kmpfw 70 is actually very agile for a heavy tank at tier 9. However, not going to be anywhere as agile as Dennis here, and he's basically just doing exactly the right thing, just staying far enough ahead of his gun so that the Kmpfw can't ever get the shot onto him. However, somebody else took the kill, so now we're basically looking to hunt down the rest of the team. Now it's a 4-on-3. Green are actually a tank down at this point. However, Dennis has already spied a one-shot tank here, the 121B Invincible, so he's just going to come straight round this corner, give him the beans, thank you very much, and clear this guy up for kill number 2. So as he comes out here, you can see now he's got he's got a well-armoured TD in front of him, and now there's also another tank coming to join the party. So he's got to be careful that he doesn't expose himself too much, doesn't want to get penned with HE. So uses the dead tank as cover, gets a shot into the med. One of his teammates assists him there and clears him up, which is now going to allow Dennis to do another thing that everybody loves to do when you get these non-turreted, monstrous armoured TDs, and that's just get at this side, get behind him, never let him get the turn, and just keep pumping in the shells, and that's exactly what's going to happen here. Unfortunately, once again, somebody else manages to take Dennis's kill away from him then, but he's doing very, very well in this game. He's up to just over 3,300 damage, and there is only one enemy tank remaining. And as we come around here, I think, if I recall, this guy was an AFK. Yes, he is. So Dennis is going to lap up this free damage, go straight in aggressively for the ram there, wants as much of this damage as possible before his teammates come in and start farming this up. So go for as much ram damage as he can, pumping in the shells. However, as has been a little bit of a theme for Dennis in this game, one of his teammates comes in at the last minute and steals his kill, so a little bit selfish there, but anyway, fantastic result there from Dennis in the Leopard PTA. 4,700, just over 4,700 damage, 2 kills, and another well-deserved ace mastery. Well played indeed. Okay, and our last game. This one's a snorter. I enjoyed watching this one. This is Oscar John Riley from GTC2, and he's rolling out in the VK 100 Tier 8 Super Heavy on Dynasty's Pearl. And it's I love the VK 100. I think probably isn't, but I've certainly got a lot of battles in the VK 100. And I think basically until the Emil 1 showed up, I think it was the tank at the heavy at Tier 8 with the highest win rate on it, and that's effectively because it has absolutely troll armor. It obviously can be penned between the tracks and through the cupola at the top, but good angling of the tank, covering the lower plate, using buildings or terrain, and this becomes a very, very difficult tank to deal with. It also deals out a very hefty amount of alpha for a Tier 8 tank. You're looking at 460 alpha with just standard AP. So not a tank really that you want to be getting into a brawl with. It has its disadvantages, of course. It is slow, so sometimes if you're dealing with a very fast medium or light tank and they manage to get round you, you may well have your hands full. So it is a tank with a sort of a very interesting driving style. I must admit, I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed the motion that comes after this, and the mouse at Tier 10 as well. I enjoy the super heavy tanking style of play. So it's sort of getting around to grips here. The one thing that the VK100 doesn't do is it doesn't do anything quickly, so it takes a bit of time. But we're going to get a point where he's going to home in on his targets. We've got the Drac there with a lovely shot on his side. Boom, straight through the side, clears him up with one shot and drives on to his next target. So we're going to get this guy isolated off and give him an infinitely horrible time if he possibly can. I think he gets a game glitch. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yep, tank seemed to jump forward about 5 feet there, but gets the look at the back of him here and sticks the shell in. And this is the sort of environment where the VK100 could do really, really well in these built-up town, city type battles, where you can potentially use the buildings to cover your weak parts of the armor at the side and rear of the tank, and that's really the best type of maps for these tanks. The sort of larger open desert maps can be a bit more challenging, but this kind of map is exactly where this tank thrives. Now, as you can see, it's a 5-on-4, so still plenty to play for. He knows he's got a medium tank that's just off to his rear, however gets a lovely look at the side of the AT there, sticks a shell straight through his side, reduces him down to a one-shot. Now he knows he's still going to have some problems with our friend here whacking in the shells. However, he takes a bounce, but is now taking shots from the rear, so he wants over this little rise here, use the cover that the walls here offer him, and he clears this guy up for kill number 2. So we're down to a 4-on-3 now, but that's very quickly reduced down to a 4-on-2. So it's not looking fantastically good for green at this point. However, Oscar's doing pretty well so far. He's racked up just over 1800 damage, and as you can see, his teammate has now been taken out, so he's now facing a 1 versus 3. So as we start to get into this guy drives sideways on, obviously wasn't aware of exactly where Oscar was there, so he's given away most of his hit point pool. So to a certain extent, although it's a 1v3, he's got the advantage that 2 of those tanks are one shot, so this guy virtually gives himself away. The Gravedigger here, he decides to go for broke, and look at this, just gets right in close to him. Gravedigger fires all of his shells, can't get a penetration in, and now Oscar's just waiting for his reload, takes careful aim at the hatch there, and boom, there we go. Very quickly reduces this guy down, so it's now a 1v1 with the Lurva Reliant there, and this is really where you've got to. Although these tanks are very slow, they are cumbersome. They can be angled, they can be turned, they can be effective in this kind of fight. So Oscar doing his best to get his tank angled up here, and ultimately, because it's not a supremacy game, somebody's going to have to push. But I mean, the VK100 is slow, but the Lurva isn't a particularly quick tank. It's a little bit better if you put the enhanced fuel on it, but not a particularly quick tank. So these two have basically just got to try and find a small opening where they are going to get a peek and get a shell on. The Lurva comes over the top there, doesn't have the gun depression to try and get the shot onto Oscar. So Oscar's going to move round to the flank here and see if he can potentially get the shot on. These guys sort of being very, very wary of each other. Now we've only got 1.5 minutes left on the clock. Now the Lurva is better off in hit point pools, but of course the single alpha damage of the VK100 is much higher. So these guys managed to get a look at the top of the turrets. They both bounce each other there. However, what this does is it's almost like lighting the blue touch paper. That brings the Lurva out. He's now going to decide that he's going to come and confront Oscar in the VK. Here comes driving out absolutely sideways there, which is insane in front of a big alpha gun. Didn't think to angle his tank on the approach there, so he's taken a nasty big chunk of alpha. However, he did manage to take some out of Oscar as well, and that's exactly what Oscar wanted to do. Angles his tank up, hides his lower plate, takes the bounce, and has now reduced the Lurva down to a one-shot, and he can afford to potentially take a hit from this Lurva. All he's got to do is get his reload on, and here we go. Thank you very much indeed. You're not getting out of this one. Straight through the side there, and clears this guy up for kill number 5. Fantastic patient play there. Really good tanking in the VK100. Just under 4,000 damage. 5 kills. And excellent display there from Oscar John Riley from GTC2. Well done indeed, and congratulations on the ace. Anyway, boys and girls, I'd like to thank our contributors for the video this week. Thank you all for watching and supporting the channel. And as always, good hunting, and bye for now.